Good morning. Let's get started today standing at the top of our mats in mountain pose. You can bring feet about hip width distance or maybe big toes to touch, heels slightly separated. Send your thoughts to your feet as you begin to root down into the earth. Soft bend the knees as you inhale, lengthen up through the crown of the head. And on your exhale, can you relax shoulders away from ears? Send that breath back down. Begin to feel that connection, soles of the feet down into the earth. Maybe begin to wiggle the toes. You can also play with lifting just the big toe, releasing the other toes down, and then alternating big toes down, other toes up. Eventually finding stillness. Again, root down into the four corners of the feet. This time inhale, lengthen the arms up overhead, maybe lift your gaze. On your exhale, swan diving forward, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift, flat spine. Exhale, folding forward. Press into the feet. Inhale lifts you up to standing. Extend arms up overhead, maybe lift your gaze. This time on your exhale, we'll cactus the arms, take it back, find a little back bend. Inhale, lengthen up. And on your exhale, swan diving forward, forward fold. Breath into halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Root to rise, inhale, lengthen arms, high gaze high. On your exhale, cactus the arms, take it back. Inhale, lengthen up. And exhale, folding forward. This time we'll plant the hands. Step your right leg back, lower the back knee, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. A few breaths here to land. Make sure left knee stacked up over left ankle. Maybe even heel toe that left foot forward to create a little more space into the hips. Hands maybe to mat, blocks, or hips to start. You can take some pulses, begin to create a little movement as you begin to deepen. 2 breaths here. Breathe in and breathe out. Full breath in. Full breath out. You can stay here or we'll add a side bend. Restack shoulders over hips if you're not already there. Left hand to hip or maybe reaches down towards a block or the mat. Right arm lengthens up overhead. Take a full breath in, create length as you reach through the right fingertips. On your exhale, begin to hinge over towards the left. Working to keep your collarbone square towards the front edge of the mat. Maybe draw your right shoulder back or even lift your gaze. 2 breaths here. Maybe sink the hips a little deeper, feeling a nice stretch across the front of that right hip flexor. 1 more full breath in. And stay for the exhale. Inhale brings you back through center, this time half split. Ardha Hanumanasana, plant the hands, maybe they find blocks. Straighten the left leg, send your hips back. See if you can keep your hips stacked over that right knee. You can play with pointing or flexing the left toes, maybe windshield wipering them side to side, beginning to wake up through the IT band. Wherever you are, think about lengthening your chest towards your toes. You can walk your hands or blocks towards the front edge of the mat. 1 more full breath in. Full breath out. Maybe walk the hands a little closer towards the toes. Standing split. Begin to shift your weight forward. Strong on the left leg. Right leg begins to lift. Pause here for breath as you melt your chest towards your thigh. Soft bend in the left knee. Twisted root, cross that right leg behind your left like you're taking a cross-legged forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need to root down into the 4 corners of the feet. Let the head hang heavy. You can choose to stay here or begin to circle the hands over towards the left as you lean the hips over towards the right, getting a little deeper into the right IT band this time. 2 more breaths. As you feel ready, we'll recenter the hands, unravel the legs, find a ragdoll. Feet about hip width distance or a little wider. You can take a bind, reaching for opposite elbow, maybe interlace hands behind the head or back. Soft bend in the knees, maybe you sway side to side. If you have that bind, release. This time step your left leg back, lower the knee on vinyasa, other side. Right knee stacked up over right ankle this time, maybe heel toe the right foot forward. Hands can be grounded or maybe hands to hips. Take a few breaths to land. You can take some pulses. You can choose to stay here or add that side bend. Right hand to hip or reaches down towards the block or the mat. Inhale, left arm lengthens up. On your exhale, begin to hinge over towards the right. A few breaths here. Keep squaring your chest towards the front edge of the mat. Maybe draw your left shoulder back or lift your gaze. Full breath in. And on your exhale, maybe sink the hips a little deeper. As you're ready, come back through center. Plant the hands half split. Send your hips back, keeping hips stacked up over the left knee this time. Keep lengthening the chest forward. Think about reaching your chest towards your toes. Hands can frame the thighs, maybe knee, calf, or ankles. Can play with pointing and flexing the toes or windshield wipering them, tilting them side to side. A few more breaths here. Keep trying to find the length in the spine as you melt your chest forward. Maybe walk the hands or blocks towards the top edge of the mat to lengthen and deepen. One more full breath in. And stay for the exhale. Standing split, shift your weight forward, strong on the right leg, left leg begins to lift. Soft bend in the right knee as you melt your chest towards your thigh. Twisted root, cross your left leg behind your right. Bend your knees, root down into the four corners of the feet, melt the chest forward. Stay here or circle hands over towards the right as you lean the hips over towards the left. And take your time, come back through center. Unravel the legs, second set, ragdoll. This time we'll plant the hands. Right leg steps back, lizard lunge. You can heel toe that left foot out a little wider. Again, knee stacked up over ankle. A few breaths here. You can choose to stay in your lizard or option for a twist and a quad stretch. Lower the right knee. Right hand to mat or block. Left arm begins to twist open, either reaching up overhead or extending the fingers towards the back edge of the mat. To add the quad stretch, bend your right leg. Hand reaches in the direction of the foot or maybe you bind the right foot. About 3 breaths here. As you feel ready, begin to unwind, plant the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. You can pedal at the feet, maybe shake the head yes and no. Any little movements here in your down dog, about 2 or 3 breaths. And as you're ready, we'll step the right foot forward, lizard lunge. Step the right foot out wide, knee stacked up over ankle. You can stay here or we'll take the twist. Lower the left knee, left hand plants down. Inhale, that right arm begins to twist open, maybe take it all the way back. Option to add the quad stretch as you bend your leg, reach in the direction of the left foot, or maybe you bind. 3 breaths here. If you have that bind, slowly release, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Any little movements you need here in your downward facing dog, Can pedal out the legs, maybe melt your chest towards your thighs. And as you're ready, we'll slowly begin to tiptoe the feet forward towards the top edge of the mat. We'll meet in a forward fold. Press into the feet. Inhale brings you up to standing. Head will come up last. Maybe shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. And exhale, release Tadasana. One breath to close out. Full breath in. And open mouth, let something go. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my practice with you today, and I hope to see you next time you're on your mat.